With the rapid development of AI technology, deepfakes are becoming a prevalent problem that are more common around the world. We're going to speak to one company, Pindrop, to see how they're safeguarding not only big business, but the everyday consumer. Only on Taking Stock.
Pindrop is a leading solution in deepfake detection and multi-factor authentication. What we do is we help banks, insurance companies, healthcare companies, when they're having a remote interaction with one of their consumers, we make sure it is their consumer by ensuring it's their voice, device, and behavior that's on that particular interaction. More recently, we've started catching a lot of deepfakes, and we start preventing these organizations from getting defrauded by deepfakes as well.
I mean, with the rapid development of AI and technology, with Gen AI especially, deepfakes and the reporting of deepfakes is becoming more and more prevalent around the world. Talk to me about the criteria that you use to identify which is an actual deepfake and which isn't.
One of the things with deepfakes is these machines are trying to generate your voice or your likeness. And what they end up doing is, as they're trying to generate that, they make subtle mistakes, really, really small mistakes. And what we're able to do is pick up on those mistakes. And as we're able to pick up on those mistakes, just for example, when you're talking on a call, there are about 8,000 samples of your voice every single second. So there are 8,000 times where you could potentially catch that mistake. And so what we're doing is we're catching those mistakes and we're identifying not just it's a deep fake, but which deepfake tool was used to create that particular synthetic content.
I would be interested to know exactly what these minor mistakes are that you're actually looking for. And of course, the criteria is different depending on if it's a voice call or a video call or an email. So talk to me about how you differentiate that and what these mistakes actually are.
On the voice side, for example, there are two kinds of mistakes. There are frequency mistakes and there are time-based mistakes. An example of a frequency-based mistake is something like when you say the word San Francisco, you're saying the word letters S and F. Because you're channeling noise through your mouth, you're able to do that in a particular way. These machines don't know how to do that. In fact, they don't know how to separate noise from these letters and oftentimes make those mistakes. Another example is when you say hello, Paul. Your mouth is wide open when you say hello, and it shuts down when you say Paul. There's only a certain speed with which you can do that. These machines don't care about those speeds. So we catch each of these subtle mistakes, and we catch fraudsters like we have at Pindrop. Every conference room is named after a fraudster we've got. So we have Chicken Man and Pepe. There's a conference room called Giraffe Man, because every time we identify audio from Giraffe Man, we realize that the only way someone could have generated this voice is if they had a 7-foot-long neck. And therefore, that was the legend of Giraffe Man.
Are there specific regions right now that are targeting specific areas when it comes to deepfakes?
Yeah, so there's three big areas. One is in commerce. So we deal a lot with banks. We have 8 of the top 10 banks, 5 of the top 7 insurances, some of the biggest healthcare providers. So we're seeing deepfakes. And to give you a sense of extent, last year we were seeing one deepfake a month across our entire customer base. This year, we're seeing one deepfake per day per customer. And some of the largest customers are getting one every 3 hours. That's a 1,400% increase in the amount of deepfakes in just the first 6 months as compared to all of last year.
Walk me through that process and how you help identify these deepfakes when platforms are utilizing Pindrop.
In commerce, what ends up happening is when there is a deepfake, immediately what happens is their agents or their automatic systems, what happens is they're told that this is a particular deepfake interaction. And so the risk on that particular call or interaction goes up. And therefore they know if that particular interaction is asking to do a wire transfer, to shut that wire transfer down. In other examples, like for example, in the election deepfake that happened at the earlier part of this year, this was when President Biden told everyone to not vote in the Republican primary. We were the ones who came in and said it was a deepfake, but also we identified the actual AI application that was used to create the deepfake. We worked with that AI application to shut down the creator of that deepfake. And so it depends on the organization, and a lot of times it's real time, but in certain situations like election interference, there's a lot of forensic analysis that happens after the fact.
Where are these bad actors located who are generating these deepfakes?
They're located in a variety of places. They're located in places like West Africa, in Eastern Europe, In call centers, we see a lot of them show up from Philippines and places like that, which were traditionally big call center holds. And so fraudsters know what are the internal operations. And so we see a lot of fraudsters out of those regions as well.
Through your research, what would you say has been the most shocking revelation that you have discovered?
The speed with which these AI applications are getting created and the speed with which these fraudsters are using these AI applications. When we started this research about 8 years back, there used to be one AI application that could clone your voice, and it would take 26 hours. Now, there are about 358 of them, and they can clone your voice with just 5 seconds of audio. And so these attackers are using this to actually generate these pieces of audio so quickly, and they're stealing money from your bank account. They're targeting your grandparents and with ransom attacks, and they're putting out misinformation in social media platforms and traditional media. So they're using it to break all online trust. And it's a pretty scary situation.
Yeah, I know, but you're getting ahead of it, it seems, with your platform, Pindrop. However, it's not just these big institutions who are targets, it's the everyday consumer. So what advice would you have to the people who are watching this interview, how to identify a deepfake, how to keep themselves protected?
I think there's a couple of things. One, you as a consumer, anytime anyone is asking you to get into an incredibly urgent situation, take a moment and breathe. That urgent situation where they're asking you for money or telling you your grandkids are arrested somewhere, take a moment and don't do what they're asking you to do. The second is start investing in tools, right? So, for example, if you see a piece of media and you think it is something that really offends you, go use tools like True Media, who we've partnered with, where you can upload a piece of video or audio content and you can see, was it deepfake or not? You can also use consumer apps like YouMail on your phone to make sure, is this a deepfake or is this a robocall that's asking you to do something? We've partnered with them as well. So use technology as well as use your own senses.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for all of that important insight.
Absolutely, Trinity. Thank you so much for having me.